On this edition for Saturday, February 15th, the latest on the coronavirus. In our signature segment, a vital tuna industry struggles to stay afloat amid a perfect storm of obstacles. And the intersection of politics and architecture in North Macedonia. Next on PBS NewsHour Weekend.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Bernard and Irene Schwartz, Sue and Edgar Wackenheim III, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, Rosalind P. Walter, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg, Charles Rosenblum. We try to live in the moment to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments. Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. From the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center in New York, Hari Srinivasan.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The U.S. government is preparing to evacuate about 400 Americans tomorrow night from the Diamond Princess cruise ship, quarantined at a Japanese port for the past 10 days. Those passengers will have to spend another 2 weeks in quarantine when they return to the U.S. So far, 285 people on board the ship have tested positive for the virus and were sent to Japanese hospitals. Today, Malaysian health authorities diagnosed an 83-year-old American woman with the coronavirus. She arrived in Malaysia after being on board the Westerdam cruise ship, currently docked in Cambodia. The ship was turned away from multiple countries before more than 2,200 passengers and crew were allowed to disembark yesterday when no one showed symptoms or tested positive. In France, authorities announced that an 80-year-old Chinese tourist died of the virus, the first death outside of Asia and the fourth outside mainland China. The Chinese government reported 143 deaths and more than 2,600 new cases of the coronavirus in the past 24 hours. Defense Secretary Mark Esper told a panel at the Munich Security Conference today that he believes a peace agreement with the Taliban looks, quote, very promising. A 7-day reduction in violence is expected to be formally announced tomorrow, and if successful, it will be followed by a U.S.-Taliban peace deal. But Esper did acknowledge today that there are risks.
We have to give peace a chance, that the best, if not only way forward in Afghanistan is through a political agreement. And that means taking some risk.
Esper and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani yesterday to discuss the details of the plan, which includes the gradual withdrawal of U.S. forces. There are currently about 12,000 U.S. troops stationed in Afghanistan. The Nevada Democratic caucuses kicked off today with early voting that runs through Tuesday in more than 80 locations. Candidates campaign throughout the state to get out the vote in what they see as a wide open race. The 60,000-member Casino Workers Culinary Union, the state's biggest union, decided against endorsing a candidate, and most state officials have remained neutral. Early voting cards will be delivered to precinct captains and counted next Saturday, the day of the Nevada caucuses. In a continuation of its crackdown on so-called sanctuary cities and states, the New York Times reports the Trump administration is planning to use agents from an elite tactical unit known as BORTAC to assist immigration and customs enforcement agents. Joining us now for more on this Border Patrol SWAT team and the sanctuary issue is Caitlin Dickerson, a national immigration reporter for the New York Times. So what is BORTAC, first of all?
So BORTAC, as you said, it's an elite portion of the Border Patrol. They really act like a SWAT team. They're people who are chosen from individual Border Patrol units. They undergo specific training. It's similar to Army Rangers or to Special Forces. They're sniper certified. They have grenades. They're called flashbangs that can obscure what you can see when they break into your home. You know, they carry large weapons. So they're very much a militaristic squad from within the Border Patrol. So most famously, Americans will remember it was BORTAC agents who broke into the home where Elian Gonzalez was being held in the year 2000, the young boy who was embroiled in an international asylum scandal, really. And, you know, you saw a BORTAC agent with a big gun sort of seize the boy from his uncle. But they also, you know, now more commonly, they're breaking into stash houses that smuggling organizations are running. So these are places that are known to be full of drugs and weapons and dangerous people, and they're breaking down the door to get them out.
So is the city of San Francisco or Atlanta or Houston or Chicago or New York, are they planning to take any steps to try to figure this out? I mean, because this is a federal jurisdiction, the government has the right to put these agents into place. These are already police departments that are not cooperating with the federal government. So what happens here?
I think what we've seen up until this point is that when local mayors get involved and they don't like the enforcement tactics of the administration, they make a real effort to let people know so that they don't come outside. And it's important to point out in this case, we talked about all those capabilities that the BORTAC agents have, but a lot of them they won't be able to use because unlike their typical work, in this case, they're enforcing civil immigration infractions. So that means they don't have the legal ability to break into someone's home or force their way into their place of work to try to arrest them. They're still very much going to be limited. And so local governments and all, mayors of places like San Francisco and also immigrant advocacy groups have gone a long way to try to educate the undocumented about their rights as a way to try to diminish the success of an operation like this one.
And is there a timeline or a goal associated with this kind of escalation?
This particular operation is planned for 3 months, and a lot of times the arrests happen on weekends. They happen in the middle of the night, they happen early in the morning. And I think what I can expect is when the operation ends, I'm going to get a press release pointing out, look at this person who has a violent criminal record, who we arrested, that person who's been deported many times, who we arrested. The thing that we want to pay attention to as well as reporters are the collateral arrests, which are becoming more and more common. So that's where essentially someone's in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? These ICE agents are targeting people who they believe to be criminals, who they believe to be, important targets for deportation. But if you're in someone's house when they're being arrested, or you're at their place of work when they're being arrested, you could also be swept up in the enforcement net, and that will absolutely be the case with this operation.
All right, Caitlin Dickerson of the New York Times, thanks so much.
Thank you.
For our full conversation with Caitlin Dickerson, visit pbs.org/newshour. There's a pitched battle underway in American Samoa, an island territory of the United States 2,500 miles southwest of Hawaii. The fight is one for economic survival, with a perfect storm of looming challenges threatening the viability of the territory's one essential industry. NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Mike Taibbi traveled to the front lines to bring us this report, which was supported by a grant from Pacific Islanders and Communication.
Morning prayers at the start of the old cannery's 6 a.m. shift. Charlie Tuna's cannery, Starkist. Some 2,400 workers troop to this 56-year-old operation every day. Let us celebrate, they sing in unison. Bless our workers, implores the supervisor, adding, as well as our leaders and management. Those leaders of an iconic American brand serve a company that's now owned and managed by a South Korean conglomerate, Dongwon. Inside the cannery, trays are loaded with several types of thawed, cooked, cooled, and ready-to-process tuna.
Skipjack, big eye, yellowfin, and albacore.
The trays are then rolled to the stands where most of Starkist's employees, explains Government Relations Manager Archie Soliai, do the hardest hands-on work.
70% of that workforce is cleaning the fish. We're skinning, taking off the bones.
Once cleaned, it's measured by hand into pouches, a packaging option gaining consumer popularity, or by automation into cans, the old standby.
We process close to 2 million cans per day. Cans, individual cans.
Plus tons and tons of fish meal, oil, and other byproducts used in agriculture, medicine, and nutritional supplements. It's an output that's kept Starkist at the top of the consumer tuna pyramid for most of the company's existence, and that from the early 60s made Charlie Tuna one of the advertising industry's enduring icons.
What you doing with it, Charlie?
Sending it to Starkist so they'll notice what good taste I got.
But today, Starkist's dominance, as well as its very existence in American Samoa, is not just at risk, it's at the cliff's edge. The main problems? A declining market generally for processed tuna products, down 40% in the 3 decades ending in 2017. An American Samoa mandated minimum wage for its vast workforce That's 3 and 4 times the wage paid to cannery workers in other countries in the region, like Thailand. A $100 million fine levied against StarKist last September after the company admitted its role in a price-fixing conspiracy, with potentially crippling consumer lawsuits still pending. And finally, an increasingly bitter dispute over which boats get to fish which waters. Consider these locally based longline boats, boats over 100 feet long that spool out miles of line and thousands of hooks in a single set, often returning with more than 30 tons of prized albacore tuna. They fished this way for decades. Carlos Sanchez is a veteran longliner, but he's in the process of giving it up.
All my boats are for sale. I have 7 boats and they are for sale.
You have no hope for the industry to the point
We have no help from the industry.
In 2002, the U.S. federal agency National Marine Fisheries Service banned large vessel longliners like Sanchez's boat, as well as even bigger boats called purse seiners, from fishing within 50 miles of American Samoa. Those close-in waters were reserved to protect a handful of local small boat fishermen, called Alia fishermen, from competition from larger boats. The Alias represent the traditional subsistence fishing that's nourished these islands for centuries.
Behind these is a ridge here. It's another good fishing ground.
Alias like Ma'atulimanu Sausimaya, mostly a charter and sport fisherman.
Once you allow the bigger vessels to enter this 50-mile zone that's designated for the local traditional Alias, and then we will be out of fish. Barely I can catch. Sometimes I go out, I don't even catch nothing.
Nonsense, insist longliners like Vince Halleck and Rosala Feliciano. The Alias hardly need a 50-mile limit.
The Alias don't go out that far. No. They can't go out that far. I mean, they can barely go out 3 miles, and then come back. And so there's this water that can be accessible to us to help us, but we can't have access to it.
We are American Samoans. We're not foreigners. You imagine how it feels like to be an outcast in your own home. It's a terrible feeling.
Feelings on all sides have been hurt and have hardened into lawsuits.
You're right, there's a war going on.
The territory's Director of Marine Life Resources, Henry Sesapasara, told us the courts will have to pick the winner, the Alia interests he supports, or the big longliners that he says are interested only in profits at the expense of any traditional interests.
We could come out to some compromise, but they don't want nothing to do with us anymore.
And there are other restrictions, other sovereign nations' rules and hefty fees determining who can fish where. It all means the fishable waters for American Samoa-based boats are fewer in number and further away. That favors the biggest boats with the greatest fishing range and the biggest storage holds for the supply of tuna that StarKist needs.
The vast majority of the fish processed at this cannery are brought in by purse seiners, which, as the name implies, is a vessel which drops a huge purse or net into the water, and in the course of a single fishing trip can bring in as much as 1,500 tons of tuna.
But will StarKist continue to rely on the big purse seiners that supply 80% of the fish the company processes here? The richest fleets of these larger boats are exploring less expensive canneries elsewhere, especially the boats from one country.
The Chinese fishing fleet has grown from 80 boats about 10 years ago to about 550.
That's not competition, that's annihilation. I mean,
yeah, as it's widely known that they subsidize their fleets. Their industries are heavily subsidized. And the further out they fish, the more uneconomical it is for them to bring the fish back.
For now, these local longliners, hoping for a miracle they can't envision, steam further out than they want to, often going without insurance or repairs they can't afford just to cut the fishing trip costs they say are crippling them. Each trip takes a month or more.
50,000.
Just to leave port?
Just to leave port. 50,000 is 30,000 in fuel, 5,000 in food, oil.
What is your maintenance cost?
That every year costs me 100,000
per boat.
Per boat.
They all say their end of the fishery that's long sustained them and their families is in free fall.
I have lost more than $500,000. And I cannot continue like that.
And while these longliners say it can't go on like this, and won't, StarKist has made clear that its choices are limited. Cut the workforce way down, shut down this operation for good and relocate to a country with cheaper labor costs, like Thailand, or declare bankruptcy. With each option, the longliners lose.
Sorry, Charlie.
As we stand here today, none of you know whether or not there's going to be an announcement in the next week, the next month, the next 6 months from StarKist saying, we're out of here.
No, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Well, we don't know when, but we know will happen.
So you've already in your own mind concluded that that's the way it's going to go.
That's the way it's going to go.
And if StarKist shuts down here or goes under altogether, well, here's where all sides in the cannery's fight to survive agree: disaster for American Samoa. That's because through all its history here, StarKist has been an employment multiplier. For just about every job here, there's a job in an outside business or company that supplies or depends upon the cannery.
With an island of 55,000 people, we're talking about 4,500 jobs.
Losing all those jobs would be devastating enough, but the macro view is even more grim. The only way to keep shipping costs and fuel and electricity prices down for an island where everything comes in by container is to have a dependable supply of some product to ship out.
The cannery is able to provide return cargo for those freight vessels that come in. The freight rates is still high when you compare it to the U.S. level, but it's still modest if you look at it in the region. And if the StarKist volume goes away, estimates are that those numbers will increase about 40%.
Longline fishermen we spoke to say that they're afraid they're going to wake up one morning and the decision will have been made. That's it, that there's no way for them to fight. They're right, aren't they? It could happen that suddenly.
It's highly possible. Yeah.
Where do you guys stand on all those options that are out there?
Mike, I think that's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
But what I can say is, the company is looking at, all options. I think it's fair to say that, it comes down to a business decision.
And because StarKist is the biggest private employer in American Samoa, that'll be a business decision that's felt across the entire region.
The newly named North Macedonia is one step closer to becoming the 30th member of NATO after a unanimous vote this week by their parliament in favor of membership. This comes after a protracted dispute with Greece over the country's previous name and even its architecture. It's a political crisis, which, as NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Christopher Livesay reports, is reflected in the skyline of the capital city of Skopje.
You might not expect big things from the capital of a landlocked Balkan country that's smaller than the state of New Hampshire. But Skopje, North Macedonia, might surprise you. There are the typical tourist sites, like this ancient fortress, and a sprawling Ottoman bazaar where the local specialty, Macedonian peppers, are sold by the bagful. These pale green zeleni paperki are on the hot side. But what really makes Skopje special is this, and this, and these. Hundreds of statues and classical looking, but actually brand new facades on dozens of buildings in the city center.
What's the name of the square here?
Macedonia Square.
Yes.
Nicholas Serbov, a historian and advisor to the state archives, says this was all built by the government just a few years ago, a project called Skopje 2014. The idea was to give a facelift to this formerly communist city, boost national pride, and attract tourists, too.
In a way, the city has grown into something more beautiful than it used to be.
Museums and government buildings boast columns and marble look-alike facades that are meant to look hundreds of years old, but are less than 10. There's also a triumphal arch, and 2 new bridges across the Varda River that have on them about 30 statues each. Not everyone has been impressed. The New York Times called the remodeled city one of the kitschiest capitals on the planet. Tourists we met seemed bemused.
It's amazing. We've been in more than 36 countries. We've never seen this number of statues everywhere.
Somebody mentioned that is monument, Disneyland monuments.
Disneyland monuments?
Yes. a lot of comments happen.
Zoran Zaev is the head of North Macedonia's ruling party. He was prime minister up until recently. He resigned last month after the country failed to win membership in the European Union. He says the building project, which was launched by the country's previous right-wing nationalist government, is partly to blame for setting the country back.
I don't want to comment the style, but I always comment to spend €1 billion.
1 billion euros?
Yes, for that monuments and museums in the center of our capital. It's really stupid. It's very wrong for developing country where is a lot of poor people.
In fact, while tourism numbers are up in the last several years, it's still a very small percentage of the country's economy. The average net income here is only about $450 a month.
When you walk to the back of the building, you see, well, it's not exactly what it seems.
Peeking behind the neoclassical facades gives a glimpse of the reality of how people live. Insulation in most apartments and homes is so bad, heating can cost up to half an average salary. And just 1 hour south of Skopje, the issue isn't fake facades.
Cultural heritage to all of us, and it should be something that unites us and not divides us.
Archaeologist Goce Pavlovsky is working on research and protection of the ancient city of Stoby. Here, artifacts like these church mosaics date back to 400 AD.
The games would start in the morning.
Even older is this Roman theater. And older still, ruins of structures dating to the time of Alexander the Great. For Pavlovsky, it's all part of a bigger picture. Archaeology, he says, shows how people in the region share a single heritage. Modern borders are a kind of political mirage.
And who gets to claim this? Who gets to say this is my history?
Humanity. I would say humanity. You don't claim history. History is there. History is not the property of certain nation. It's the property of the territory where people live. So the rulers can change, the countries can change, their borders can change, and the history stays there.
As for all the statues in Skopje, well, they're subject to history too.
Part of our citizens are in favor to take out these monuments, to take it out, to put it in other places, and that costs money also. It's not easier to that. Every dollar, every dinar, for us it's very precious to find solution for everyday problems. Every money what we have it, we must put in our health system, in our education system, new jobs for our young people. That is the high discussion in our society.
Zaev hopes if his pro-Western party wins in upcoming elections this spring, it will help renew the chances the country will be admitted to the EU. Building friendships, he says, is more important than building monuments to the past.
This is PBS NewsHour Weekend, Saturday.
Today marks what would have been Susan B. Anthony's 200th birthday. In honor of her and this year's centennial anniversary for women's suffrage, a unique event kicks off today in New York City. NewsHour Weekend's Carla Murthy has more.
The Park Avenue Armory was built in the late 1870s for the 7th Regiment of the National Guard. Its reception rooms and drill hall served as a military facility and social club. Today, the Armory is dedicated to supporting unconventional works of art in this unique historical space. In honor of the 100th anniversary of the passing of the 19th Amendment, which gave some women the right to vote, the Armory is hosting a two-part event called 100 Years, 100 Women.
We know that women artists exist in our world, in our city, and having an opportunity to actually bring them together in a large space felt like a special moment.
Along with 10 other cultural institutions, the Armory will commission 100 women artists whose work will be showcased later this spring.
We want to encourage people to bring their daughters, their mothers, their husbands and sons to explore this question of how far have we come or not, in the last 100 years, and use the centennial as just a spark for conversation.
It just seemed like such a great idea because you're going to get 100 points of view on this sort of important century. The history of the Armory was very male-centric. There were no women at those meetings. So it's always interesting when we have artists here because I think they feel that contrast, but they're bringing something new, a new time, a new history, a new story about the Armory. it's kind of great, just women in the drill hall 100 years after after suffrage. It's really exciting, actually.
We will have a look ahead to next Saturday's Nevada Democratic presidential caucuses on tomorrow's broadcast. Join us for that and a new look at the 1965 Cambridge University debate between James Baldwin and William F. Buckley on race and inequality, issues that resonate 55 years later. That's all for this edition of PBS NewsHour Weekend. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Bernard and Irene Schwartz, Sue and Edgar Wachenheim III, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, Rosalind P. Walter, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg, Charles Rosenblum. We try to live in the moment to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments.
Consumer Cellular offers no-contract wireless plans that are designed to help you do more of the things you enjoy. Whether you're a talker, texter, browser, photographer, or a bit of everything, our U.S.-based customer service team is here to find a plan that fits you. To learn more, go to consumercellular.tv.
Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're watching PBS.